Welcome to Canucks Last Week, where I try to keep my sanity after each passing Canucks loss. I think as a collective fan base, we all deserve a nice cold beer, or if you're underage, maybe a milkshake from White Spot. I don't know, whatever floats your boat, but that was a very hard week to be a Canucks fan. The week started off with more bad injury news as Chris Tanev gets injured again. Like, it just felt like he came back from injury. What's going on? No Bo Horvat, no Sven Baertschi, no Brandon Sutter, no Chris Tanev. That's close to $20 million in salary not playing. Why do the Canucks always have injury problems? Like, whoever is writing this needs to stop. Sure, I'll give credit where credit's due. Last year they got creative with the mumps, but this year it just feels like lazy writing. I swear, you could play like injury bingo or something. Horvat foot fracture. Anyone have Horvat foot fracture? Tanev strained groin. Anyone Tanev strained groin? Bingo bango bongo. The season's donezo. That was awful. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Wild stuff, but low-key, I'm okay with this as long as this means the team actually starts to fall for Dahlin. So what do I even say about these games that happened this week? The 7-1 Nashville loss with PK Subban scoring from center ice, and then the broadcast just had to show that Nicholas Lidstrom goal against Dan Cloutier. Just, yeah, I needed a drink after that. And then we have the San Jose game where Brock Boeser scores a goal on the power play with no one covering him. Odd strategy there. Canucks are going up 3-1 into the third, and we blow the lead in the third. Game goes into overtime, and at that point, I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to be like the turning point in the season, the moment where the season just implodes on itself, the John Tortorella trying to fight the Calgary Flames in the dressing room moment, if you will. But then Sam Gagner, of all people, scores the overtime winner, saving the Canucks and their fans the embarrassment of blowing yet another third period lead. I was honestly really proud of the group for showing up with an injured roster and bouncing back after a 7-1 loss. Even though it wasn't the prettiest of victories, they got the job done. And then that leads me to the Calgary game. Last year, when I flew back from Toronto to Vancouver, the Canucks were playing the Carolina Hurricanes, and I come off the plane, open Twitter. The Canucks had blown, I think it was like a 5-2 lead and lost 7-5 in the third, something like that. This game was actually might have been worse. Canucks Twitter was actually on fire. Brock Boeser gets injured. Canucks are losing 6-1. Mania. Brock Boeser getting injured and trying to skate his way off the ice was just salt in the wound from the hockey gods. That's just... oh, this team! If us Canucks fans are Gatsby, then Brock Boeser is the green light off in the distance. That unobtainable dream that the Canucks will maybe one day get back into the playoffs and actually have a chance at winning the Stanley Cup. And when I saw that injury on Twitter, that was like the mist covering up the green light. I thought I thought if he was going to be out with a foot fracture or something like that, literally no point in watching the rest of the season. I was born in '97, so I missed out on the whole Pavel Bure rookie hype. So for me, Brock Boeser, this is uncharted territory for me. I have never seen a prospect this good this early in his career in contention for a Calder trophy, and the thought of Brock Boeser's Calder season being ripped away from my hands just felt so cruel. Thankfully, he was okay. Thankfully, yes, he was on crutches after the game and he was wearing a boot on his foot, but it looks like it was just a bone bruise, and he actually played last night against the Montreal Canadiens, so... whew. Anyway, that leads me to last night's game where the Canucks scored 5 goals. Yeah, that's right. They scored 5 goals. And they still lost to the Montreal Canadiens, one of the lowest scoring teams in the NHL. The Canucks have allowed 23 goals in the past 4 games. I'm internalizing all this anger, which is not going to be good for my health later, but... to keep things positive, let's talk about Brock Boeser's goal last night against Carey Price and the Montreal Canadiens. On the power play, Montreal has all 4 of their penalty killers on the, I guess, left wing wall. None of them covering Brock Boeser, who finds the puck and himself all alone, one-on-one, in basically a game of chicken against Carey Price. Carey Price comes all the way out of his crease to challenge Brock Boeser, and we're beginning to learn that Brock Boeser is not going to miss when he's given that opportunity. That's one of the best goalies in the world. Maybe he's not the best goalie in the world this year, but he's been proven to be one of the best goalies in the world, and Besser beat him clean. I'm trying to imagine how much room Besser had to shoot with Carey Price challenging him that far out, and he still picked that corner clean. What a shot from Besser. Again, please, hockey gods, do not take him away from me. Lastly, to wrap things off, we'll talk about some of the World Junior cuts that happened to Vancouver Canucks prospects. Cole Lind was one of the first cuts for Team Canada. Not too much of a surprise there. He went into the camp probably being a bubble player. The big surprise was Michael DiPietro being cut, with Team Canada choosing to run with 2 goalies, Carter Hart and Colton Point. A lot of people thought that Michael DiPietro was pretty much a lock for being Canada's backup goalie this year, but Colton Point, it looks like, beat him out, who's been having a very, very good year in college this year. I believe he has something like a .940 save percentage, something like that. But that's okay. Michael DiPietro still has another year of eligibility for the World Juniors, so next year, hopefully, he will make the team, probably in a bigger role, maybe even as a starter. Thankfully for Canucks fans, we'll have someone to cheer for on Team Canada. Jona Gadjevich did make the team, so we'll have that. We'll also have Elias Pettersson, Olli Levy, maybe even Will Lockwood. So that's going to do it for me for this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. It really helps me out knowing if I'm doing stuff right or wrong. And if you're new to the channel and want to torture yourself on this Canucks journey with me, feel free to subscribe, hang out. We'll get through this together. I don't know. I can't promise anything, but other than friendship, I can promise you friendship. So yeah, that'll do it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.